If you're a small player, how can you play your best and play bigger than your actual size? So I've talked before in different videos about weighting, how there's a lot of weighting in sports, especially for growth spurts and for just other little things that take you from like your current level where you really step up to the next level. It's a really big, difficult thing to be waiting for that growth spurt. I've seen it with lots of players that I've coached over the years, and it's something that's beyond your control. So when you're a smaller player and you want to make a team, you want to have a big impact, there's a couple things that you can do to really improve your skills and just sort of level up and maximize the skills and the size that you do have. So number one, first, a mental performance tip. You're going to have a lot of negative self-talk regarding your size. You're going to walk around, see that you're the shortest person or the smallest person or not have as much power or velocity than someone else. And the doubts and the negative talk is going to flood in. And you're saying, I can't do this. Why am I here? Like, I don't belong on this field, blah, blah, blah. And this is where you really have to use realistic self-talk to help get yourself back. I don't believe in like just tons of positive vibes, like, self-talk. I think we know the difference when someone's like being patronizing to us, right? When someone's like, oh, you can do it. It's like, I definitely can't do this thing, right? If someone's like, hey, Dan, you can scale that building, positive vibes. I'm like, no shot can I climb that building, no matter if I have good vibes or not. It doesn't make a difference. I'm not physically capable of doing that, right? But when we're realistic about attributes that we actually have, then self-talk I find really powerful. So if you're a smaller player, take an inventory mentally of the things that you do have. Like, hey, I'm a really good base runner, or I'm really fast, or I'm a really good fielder, or I have really good baseball or softball smarts, right? Those things are important intangibles, and you do have those. So even though you don't have the size, what do you have? When those fears and doubts and the negative self-talk about your size floods in, counteract it, respond back to it by saying, you know what? You're not big enough, you're not strong enough. Well, you know what? I'm a really good base runner. I'm a really good teammate. I can get the team rallied. I have good energy. I've got, I'm one of the best fielders on the team. And, I have a lot of good things going for me. That's the self-talk, the positive chatter that you have to respond to when those negative thoughts flood in. Number two, baseball and softball are very nuanced games, and you don't have to be Aaron Judge, 6'8", and just destroying the ball into the atmosphere to be a successful player. There have been many small players in baseball and softball who are highly successful as outfielders, as second basemen, infielders in general. Like, they can be smaller bodied players. So what skills do you have? We just talked about this, that you can maximize and practice. So if you're not a huge bodied kid yet, take tons of ground balls, take tons of fly balls, make fielding your number one priority, make getting faster one of your top priorities, make being the best base runner you can be a top priority. So go out with your mom and your dad, your aunt, your uncle, your grandpa, grandma, your friends, and have them, hit you a million fly balls. Take twice as many as the next player. Do the things that you can do to maximize the abilities that you do have and the things that are within your control. Find creative ways to be as good as you can be and squeeze as much actual out of your small frame. There's still a lot of potential, right, for when you hit that growth spurt. But for now, even if your actual physical abilities are not super high, tap into them. Be as good of a baseball IQ, softball IQ player, be a great teammate, maximize the stuff that you actually do well. And number three, stay in your lane. I've seen this even in pro ball where I had players who are smaller players but really strong try to be something that they're not. And it's like, hey dude, you're our leadoff hitter. Why are you trying to hit the ball out and trying to lead off the game with a home run? We've got guys in the 3, 4, 5 spot with a lot of power. All we need you to do is get on base so that you're there when they hit one out of the park, right? So stay in your lane. Don't try to be a bigger player when you're not. Just try to be the best version of yourself that you can be. And that's a lot more challenging than it sounds. And it's different than building the skills. And it's different than the mental performance training that I talked about earlier. This is having a game plan for yourself. It's like, hey, my game plan is spray line drives over the infield. My game plan is be an excellent bunter, an excellent base stealer, an excellent fielder, and that's my lane. And even if it's like a big situation, I'm not going to try to hit one over the outfielder's heads because that's not my game. I'm still going to focus on smashing a line drive right back at the pitcher because that's my good default mindset as a hitter. Ultimately, everyone who makes it to the highest levels of baseball or softball, they become very good at knowing themselves, knowing what they can do and what they're not as good at doing. And they still work on their weaknesses, but they're very good at staying in their lane, being an excellent player at their one position, or if they're a utility player, they're a couple, but they really end up honing their game and they don't deviate from it. They don't try to be Aaron Judge on Thursday and they try to be themselves the rest of the week. No, they're themselves every day, every game, every situation, and they become very, very good at being that role player, right? And that is really important, especially if you don't have the premium tools like I didn't. I was a 6-foot right-handed pitcher. I didn't get a scholarship in college. I threw 80 miles per hour when I was a freshman in college. And I said, I've got a really nasty curveball. I'm going to build on that. I'm going to try to throw harder. And then I did. And then I was like, all right, I need a changeup. So I learned that. And I continued to try to improve things about myself while still knowing that, hey, if I'm not a power pitcher yet, I'm not going to pitch like a power pitcher. But then one day I actually became kind of a power pitcher. And it's like, all right, now I can pitch that way. It's always about staying in your lane and trying to be better, but still being honest with yourself today about what you can do and what you're not as good at doing. And when you do that, things will really take off. All right. So thanks for watching. If you're new here, be sure to subscribe to the channel. Check out my books, including my new mental performance book called This Slump Shall Pass. You'll find it in the description below. It's an easy, engaging read for athletes of all ages. Thanks again. I'll see you here in the next video.